Yes, good morning, class. I am audible. Yes, class, I am audible to you. So, continuing from the previous lecture, right? As we are discussing about each and every unit one by one, and in that we have discussed about the network layer, right? And the role and responsibility of network layer is to deliver the packet to the destination, right? And with the help of the router, which act as a main important component for delivery of packet, since it allows us to identify the optimal path, right? Router is basically a layer 3 component, right? A layer 3 device. Please remember this thing. Layer 3 device means it is going to work for network layer, right? Making use of internet protocol, and with the help of that internet protocol, it will going to deliver or forward the packet, right, to that network. Once the packet is within that network, then the role of MAC address come in picture, and there will be a mapping of IP address and MAC address, right? So there is a mapping between IP address and MAC address, right? So all MAC address is associated with the uh, reserved IP, and which is reserved for that period of time, right? And what will happen with that? Once the packet is reached in this network, now suppose you can see over here, that uh, packet is coming from one network to another network in this manner, right? And when it reached to this network over here, now the role of MAC address come in picture, right? So over here, what we have layer 2 device such as switch or hub, right? So switch is basically having MAC address, right? So what we need to do is we have a table which is known as address resolution protocol, ARP protocol. So ARP protocol come in picture automatically over here, which basically resolve the IP and MAC address. So we call it mapping. Basically, this is known as a mapping of IP address and MAC address. Now, now the switch will take control, and it will unicast the message to particular node where uh, it is designed, or where we want to deliver the packet, right? Routing we have decided. So all in all, what I want to say is that without router we could not able to connect with different network, right? If we have a network, right, this is another network, this is another network, this is another network, and if we want to communicate through that network, then we need some kind of intermediator that will allow us to communicate with each other, right? It's just like you can just imagine, like we have a translator, right? It is a thing which able to convert one language to another language, right? So one protocol to another protocol kind of thing. So over here we are talking about, in network layer we are talking about routers, right? Now next unit that we have in our syllabus, that will be the transport TCP layer, right? And the role of transport layer is, you can see that it is for reliable delivery of data, right? Or ordering of delivery, right? Which packet need to be come first and which should be last, right? The ordering need to be maintained, and this is the role of transport layer. So there will be multiple applications which are running in a system, and we need some mechanism through which we could able to segregate them, or we could able to distinguish them, and that could be done with the help of port addressing, right? So every application is designated with some of the is designated with the IPs, right? So if we talk about FTP server, if we talk about HTTP server or protocols, right? Like HTTP is a protocol, FTP is a protocol, DNS, like all other services are there, or we can say these are the application. So these application has been allotted some port number, and please remember this port number is of 16 bits, right? So as compared to IP address, which is 32 bit, and your port number is 16 bit. Please remember this part. This is very important, right? Now the combination of these two, right? The combination of port number, which is of 16 bits, and the IP address, which is of 32 bits, make a socket, right? So automatically socket, the concept of socket come in picture when we are talking about this unit, that is your transport layer, right? So there will be some mechanism which we need to implement, that like segmentation, right? And reassembly. It is needed since we have large data, and we know that large data could not be transmitted in a single go, right? So what we are doing, we are putting some kind of segmentation. We are uh, dividing them into chunks, right? And then forwarding over a network, open network, through multiple paths. It is going to reach to the destination, but their visit on the receiving side is not assured because they are following some different paths, right? If it is connectionless service, right? Otherwise, if it is in a connection oriented, so definitely they are coming one after another in a sequence. But what about if we are saying it is a connectionless service? So in connectionless service, there could be a multiple path from source to destination, right? So from source to destination, there could be multiple path, and there could be chances that not all the packets or they are following similar path all the time, right? So some are following the optimal path where they could able to get maximum bandwidth, right? Or there could be a minimum delay. All those parameters should be considered. So one packet is moving in one direction. Suppose this is one path, this is another path, this is another path. Now suppose because of some reason this path is not available, so there will be a rerouting, right? And a few packets are forwarded from this direction, few packets are forwarded from this direction. Initially they are might be trying this network since it is the shortest one as compared to the other two paths available. So what I want to tell you over here is that it may happen that the third packet may arrive before the first packet. Getting my point? So since we have segmented them, we have uh, packets, like suppose this is 1, 2, right? And this is third packet. And now over the network, we have forwarded them. Now it may happen that packet 3 may arrived before packet 1. Please understand this point. Now, what need to be done over here? We need to maintain some kind of sequence. Since all are following some kind of different path, they are not following a same path when this large packet is divided into small chunks and then they are forwarded to the destination. They are following different paths. Now, with this, what is happening? Some of the packet they may arrive from the packet which need to be arrived first, right? So packet 3 may arrive before packet 1. Now we cannot able to put packet 3 in front of packet 1. We have to wait, right? So that's why it is saying over here reassembly, right? So that is what it is needed, right? So this task is done by which layer? Transport layer. Please remember this thing. This is a very important layer in our OSI model, in OSI TCP model, right? Please remember, we are not using OSI model. We are using TCP IP model, right? So in the network, the currently the model which we are using is TCP IP model, right? So over here you can see one of the mechanism where actual transmission is taking place between process which is running on one system to a process which is running on another system, right? So you can state after this that actual communication is taking place between a process to process, right? It is not between node and node. It is a process like which is running on your system, right? Which want to communicate to another process which is running on remote system, right? So in that manner, we are saying that communication is taking place between a process, right, which is running on this device by sender, and on the receiving side, again, a process which is receiving that data, right? So over here, one more thing is I just want to highlight is that we having a sending buffer, right? And this is a kind of linked list. This is a kind of linked list. If you remember, we having a data structure linked list, right? So which is pointing to the next right memory slot, and in this manner we having a chain of write. So what is happening that once the data is forwarded, right, and received, right, by the receiver, and we on the other side acknowledge about that thing, right? So if we send the acknowledgement of that received data, then we could able to delete that bytes, right? So we are not going to store them, and then we are sending the next bytes in a buffer, right? So in this manner, and why we are doing this thing, understand this thing, that if acknowledgement is not going to receive within a time, right, within a time period, then what is going to done? We need to retransmit the same bytes again, right? So for that, what we need to do, we need to store them in a buffer, and that's why we are having this a circular sending buffer similar to a circular linked list, which will send the bytes and receiver will receive, which will going to acknowledge it. If acknowledgement will receive within a time period, then it will move to the next buffer, right? And this sequence will continue. But what if it could not able to meet and there is a timeout and acknowledgement could not able to reach due to some kind of attenuation noise? This acknowledgement might have lost in between. So receiver is basically waiting for this acknowledgement, right? Sorry, sender is just waiting for this acknowledgement over here. Now, after that time collapse, right, sender will come to know, okay, the data which I have sent previously, or for which this sending TCP is waiting, right, will come to know we acknowledgement is not received. Might be the packet which this device has sent has been lost, or acknowledgement has lost. This could be the two possibilities, right? So to overcome this problem, what we will do retransmission, right? So retransmission is the only solution to overcome the problem of lost packets, try to understand this thing, right? So this will going to study in the next when the unit will come, and these are the important points, right? So there will be a kind of connection control, right, between these two, right? So if acknowledgement is not sent back, so sender will not send the next packet, means we are controlling something, right, because of this mechanism. Otherwise, what will happen if this thing is not there, then sender will keep on sending the packets, and might be receiver is not in a situation to receive more packets because of heavy traffic or because of congestion. So what will happen? All the packets which sender has sent will going to spill out or will going to lost in a network, and that we don't want in any case, right? So there is a need of some control mechanism between these two, right? So we will look after this thing. Some methods are there through which we are going to do that. Flow control, error control is there. And then finally, these are the two protocols, that is TCP and UDP protocol, which is mainly a connectionless and connection oriented, right? So we will see that how this thing is going to work, right? Which is more related to how the packets are disseminated to the destination, right? Yes, class, I just want to remind you, mark your attendance by writing present in the chat box. Till then, I just want to take a screenshot for your attendance, right? For the number of count. In between, if you have any doubt, you're most welcome. You want to ask, I will take your query. Any kind of doubt, if you want to ask, you can ask, right? I hope the book is being shared with you by USCR. Right. So no one is asking something, means you don't have any doubt. So I'm continuing further the next part. And in the last, what we are going to have is, we have all this applications which is running in the topmost layer, right? In a top-down approach, right? So that is the first layer through which we are interacting or interface, right? Like HTTP is there, SMTP is there, Gmail services are there. We having other protocols such as Telnet is there, right? So these are the protocols which through which we are going to interact, or we are making use of their service, and in that layer, that is application layer, right? So this is basically end-to-end interact, right? Okay. So moving further with the basics, first of all, if you understand the basics, then you will understand the core working of the network, right? So you can see over here that we have different devices, right? And what are those? Such as laptop are there. We are having a palm top is there, PDA, cell phones, pagers. These are now out of we don't use this thing, right? Previously we are using, right? Then these are the sensors network. We are having we are making use of these devices, like, so these are the end devices. More prominently, if you want to segregate them, so the cell phone, PDA, palm top, and laptop, these are the end devices. We call them END devices, right? Whereas you can see over here, these are the intermediate devices. Please remember this thing: hub, switch, and router. I just want to recall you, like, hub is basically working in physical layer, right? In the previous lecture we have studied. Please remember this thing. This is the layer 1 device, right? Because it basically broadcast, right? And whereas switch, it has some kind of small memory in it, which could able to make that table, ARP table, and which basically manage the mapping of IP address and MAC address. So this work on the data link layer, that is data link and MAC layer. So it is a layer 2 switch. It is layer 2 device, right? Whereas router, it is your network layer device, right? And we call it layer 3, right? Sometime you will also heard about this thing. We have advanced version of switch, which is also known as layer 3 switch, which is similar to routers. So we call them layer 3 switches. We especially mention them. Layer 3 switches means now they have the capability to even understand the IP address and forward the packet using that, right? On the right hand side, over here you can see I have shown you some of the devices, and it is mentioned with something over here, that is cross, straight, and cross. And the important point to observe over here is that when a similar device want to communicate with each other, right, you can see these are the similar device, then we need a cross cable, right? So I have even told you in the previous class that there is a TX and RX which is on the same position, right, over here also. So what we need to do is the TX should be go into RX and like this way. So there is a need of cross cable when we are connecting a device directly with each other. Whereas if we make use of intermediate device, like we are talking about hub, which is a layer 1 device working on physical layer, right, in your TCP IP model, you can see over here, it does not require cross cable. It could be worked simply easily with the help of straight cable, right? So we don't need cross cable when we are connecting through intermediate devices. But when we are connecting directly, two PCs are connected directly through that Ethernet port. There is a Ethernet port over here, right? RJ45. Similarly, one more Ethernet port is there, RJ45, through which they are connected. And that is also known as LAN card. We called it LAN card or Ethernet card, right? And if we use straight cable, then you cannot able to communicate with each other, right? Please remember this thing. Whereas again, you can see one hub is there, another hub is there. If you want to connect two hubs together, again, we need cross cable, right? So the principle is when we are using same devices, then we are making use of cross cable, right? Whereas you can see when we are connected with different devices, then we can simply go with straight cable, right? So you can see this PC is connected to this hub. So there is no need of cross cable. It could easily work with straight cable, right? Any doubt in this particular? Shall we move further? Yes, class. Yes, class. Any doubt? If you want to ask, please let me know. Or shall I move further? Yes, please write in chat box, or you can turn on your mic. Please let me know. Is this thing is clear? Why we need and when it is needed a cross cable and when it is needed a straight cable? Yes, class. Okay, no doubt. Okay, clear, right? Who is written? Who has written this thing? Harpreet Kaur, right? Okay. Just to moving further. Now, these are the, you can see the future aspects of network. Let me clear the screen first, right? And now we have connected through this world, right? So first internet was come, that is ARPANET, right? And then day by day, this internet get evolved and it get matured enough, right? Now you can see connecting with one device to another device is not a big deal for us, right? Now we are talking about how we could able to connect with the things that we have associated at our home, right? If I could say, if you are having a toothbrush, right? So if we could able to connect it with the internet, right, your television, your refrigerator, your washing machine. And if we could able to connect them also, then these are the uh, application that come under this technology that is known as Internet of Things. So baseline for this Internet of Things is networking, right? The basic networking through which we are connecting, right? For like for Wi-Fi and using Zigbee, using 4G, 5G, or LAN, right? All that fiber optics. So all these are the infrastructure that is being demanded by this Internet of Thing, right? And over that network layer, then we could able to place the householding things that we want to connect with the internet. Over here, you can see one shirt, right? You can see clothes are there. There's a smart watch is there, right? Even your plant is could be able to easily monitored through we having a soil sensor, which we dip in the soil, right? The sensor is there, and this sensor could able to connect through Wi-Fi and your home internet. So anytime, anywhere, any place in your hand device, you could able to monitor the water content, or you could able to monitor the moisture level, nutrition level, right? All that type of things that you are interested in, that could be done. So this is the future aspects of networking, which says computer network. That network is not limited to computer only now. Now, initially it was said computer networks, right? Now, computer network means we are connected with computer, and there is no other devices we are could able to connect, right? At that era, I'm talking about the 1960s, early 1960s. Even we are able to connect with only 10 to 20 PCs, right? That is basically a very big deal. Even we are talking about how we could able to connect with from one continent to another continent. This was the thing which is going they are going through at that time, right? So step by step they get evolved and the technology come in pictures, the electronics, right? The Moore's law, which says that the cost of a hardware is get halved after every 2 years, right? And the computation power get doubled, right? So this thing basically leads to new application come in picture. So initially we have computer networks. Now we are saying Internet of Things means any uh, object that is around you and you want to monitor, to observe, to collect some data from it, then you could easily able to do this with the help of this Internet of Things, right? So in this manner we have few hardware, right? And like Raspberry Pi is there, the Arduino is there. So and with that device, it has a battery unit, it has some kind of motherboard in which a processor is there, right? So it depends upon that which uh, device or sensor device you are using, like this Arduino if you are using, or you are using Raspberry Pi, because they are performing depending upon the controller it holds, right? It has a processor or it is a controller, right? Could able to perform multiple tasks at the same time or single task at a time, right? So depending upon the need, we could able to move further, right? Yes. So if we have advancement such as we have discussed in the previous slide, then definitely in a coming years and even in few countries you could see such type of applications, right? So if you are traveling from one place to another place, so such type of hoardings will definitely help you out, right? To go to move with alternate routes, right? To avoid the situations, right? Or if some incident has happened, ahead, right? Like accident or something. So all that information could be displayed, and yeah, you can see the traveler can able to have this information, and accordingly they can replan their route, or they can manage or avoid some situations, such as traffic jams, right? You can see over, and they could even able to know about the weather condition, right? All that uh, information could be transmitted, right? So this is one of the application, right, is there. Now, next, moving further with this challenges which we have in network, in computer network, and it says about the most important thing is the bandwidth, right? So bandwidth is number of packet successfully delivered on the other side, right? Total number of packet which is which you have transmitted, and number of packet which is actually received. So when we have this ratio, we will could able to know about the bandwidth, right? So it says that it talks about the speed, it talks about how many data could could able to reach quantity. So we will say like mbps, right? So this is the unit which is associated with it. Gbps, right? Gigabits per second, megabits per second, kilobits per second, kbps. So these are the talking about the unit in which we are measuring the transmission of data from one place to another place, right? So it associated lots of things are also there. We will definitely going to talk this thing in the second unit when we will have this particular thing, that is bandwidth, right? And how we could able to improvise bandwidth. So that is a key factor. That is a very top-notch discussion in computer networks, right? Since it is a challenge, right? Open network, we are connected in open network, and everyone is allowed to access that channel. Everyone is allowed to use that network, right? So we need some mechanism which could able to provide us maximum bandwidth. You can just have an analogy in this manner that if I could able to provide a road transportation, and in a manner I have designed a highway for you, right? And everyone is using that highway for traveling, right? And if we have narrow bridge, and if we have less you can say space with respect to the number of cars which are moving or traveling, then there are many problems with that, right? There could be delay in a network, there could be more congestion in a network. So we need to manage that thing, and with this bad effects, there could be chances that there could be a less bandwidth for available for the uh, users, right? So this is one of the prominent challenge that we need to acknowledge, that we need to overcome. We could able to mitigate, right? We cannot able to avoid totally. There would be a situation, right, where we can able to minimize the level of effects, right? We cannot completely avoid all that bottlenecks that is available in the network, right? So we will definitely discuss that how packet get transformed from each layer and get to the to its original, and then it reach to the receiving side. So between the sender and receiving, right, there are many transformation which a data the data take place, and with that encapsulation and de-encapsulation of headers, right, leads to a transformation of packets, right? So next challenge that we have is security. As yes, all we know that this is very important, right? So whenever we are talking about data, we need to take care of CIA pillars, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So these are the three pillars through on which we will communicate our data over a network, right? So it should be confidential. It should not be revealed to everyone. When I am communicating, I am sending our data from one place to another place. It should maintain some kind of confidentiality depending upon the need of data. If sometime we are sending only some ping message or configuration messages also, which does not might require confidentiality, but it does require integrity or availability, right? So for whenever we are talking about security, we will look into this pyramid. We will look into this pyramid structure you can see over here, and we called it CIA pyramid. Please remember this part. And CIA means we are saying confidentiality need to be maintained, right? That means data should be revealed to the receiver. It should be revealed to the receiver to whom it belongs. Whereas integrity means it should not be modified in any way, right? No one could able to change the actual data when it is traveling from one place to another place, right? And availability, that is 24/7. Whenever we want, we demand it, it should be available to us 24/7 into 365. If this thing is not there, then definitely we are compromising with the security. So we need mechanisms.